Water and health and wellness is not my passion. Self-awareness is my passion. Telling people that you don't need anything outside of yourself to be your absolute fucking best expression, that's what I'm passionate about. I'm not giving any kind of medical advice. I have no training for that whatsoever. This is just my perspective. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina. If you're new here, welcome. I've been on YouTube for 15 years, walking a very specific process of facing myself as my fears and self-judgments and limitations, self-definitions basically that limited me in my reality and in my expression. And I walked through a lot of stuff, finding out who I am for real. And so yeah, thank you for being here. Today I want to talk a little bit about, so I worked in online business for 2 years. If you have been following my YouTube channel for a while, you would have seen a lot of content coming out to support myself in that process and sharing about that process a little bit and sharing about the product and sharing about that journey of becoming an online business owner. And I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about why I quit my online business. One of the dimensions that I want to talk about here is because the product that I worked with was Kangen water. It's a water ionizer, basically takes tap water, filters it, and runs it through an electrolysis process that it restructures the water to produce highly antioxidant, highly alkalized water that is incredible for the body. Essentially, it's a hydrogen-rich substance that the hydrogen is really what does so much healing for your body. Anyways, that's what I was working with and sharing. But I was really clear from the beginning of starting my business that as great as the water is in terms of, it's got some really remarkable effects on people with cancer, diabetes. This is what we claimed, is that the body in its acidic state causes all this disease and illnesses and stuff like that. And so the water being highly alkalized and really the hydrogen rich water that it is rebalances the body, puts it back into homeostasis, which allows the body to heal itself. That might be, but I also came in with the awareness that self is the directive principle of and as itself as life. And so literally needs nothing outside of itself to exist. That's the potential. So working with this water, there was always this kind of point within me of like, well, yes, this water is great and it can really help people and be a bridge. But ultimately the awareness is that you can change your health by changing your mind, changing your awareness, letting go, releasing yourself through self-forgiveness, or just having a clear understanding of who you are. Changing yourself can literally change your body and your well-being and health. Like, you don't need medicine. You don't need any particular protocol. Yes, this stuff can all support and bridge, and I'm not saying in any way to stop what you're doing. I'm not giving any kind of medical advice. I have no training for that whatsoever. This is just my perspective and understanding and awareness of who we are, which is that we can, with our awareness as directive principle, as life, as all, as one, as equal, direct our body specifically to change any and all disease and illness and become completely harmonized and exist in a state of absolute thriving and well-being simply with our words, our sound, our awareness, our presence. We literally need nothing outside of ourselves. So having that awareness, there was always that discrepancy of me trying to share this water with people, because ultimately I knew that people don't actually need the water. But I did have that point of like, well, it's a bridge, because not everyone has this awareness. Not everyone is there. There's a gap between what's accepted and allowed as the awareness of the collective consciousness on this planet versus like the utmost potential of who we are and the awareness thereof. There's a gap there. So I was like, well, the water can be that bridge for people to realize that they have more control and power over their body than they think. The problem is that we've been conditioned and programmed and accepted and allowed ourselves to believe ourselves to be such victims, that life is so specifically like by chance or random, that we have no control over what happens to us. We don't have any control over what our body's doing, which to me, as I understand it, just implies absolute abdication of who we really are and the power that we have, and separation of our body as our flesh, as our living expression of our beingness. So it's a lot of woo-woo terms if you're not into any kind of spirituality or any kind of that stuff. But anyway, so that was a discrepancy that I had within me for quite a while. But yeah, like I said, I just leaned into that. It's a bridge. It's a bridge. It's a bridge. It's a bridge. But, 2 years into my journey with that business, it didn't move at all the way that I thought it could and would, according to what I saw and my potential and who I was and how I applied myself, because I gave it my all. This is like my birth story with my son all over again. I fucking pushed and 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 pushed for hours, or in this case for 2 years. I fucking pushed this point to my utmost. I pushed it, and it just wouldn't fucking move. And so it was like, okay, well, I don't want to push it anymore. This is not the point. And so that's kind of where I came to, and what I realized in making that decision and letting that business go was water and health and wellness is not my passion. Self-awareness is my passion. Knowing who we are for real and me supporting other people to realize that's my passion. Telling people that you don't need anything outside of yourself to be your absolute fucking best expression, that's what I'm passionate about. To let people know that they need nothing outside of themselves. Like, everything exists within them, all the answers that they need, all the well-being that they're looking for, all the abundance, it's here already as who you are. And to be able to like fully step into that expression is incredible. And it feels like finally, but that's what I'm really passionate about. And so that's one dimension of why I stepped away from my online business. And yeah, I just wanted to share that because I was sharing very specific stuff for quite a while. I was in a very specific process, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. It was an extension of the process that I have been walking since I started my YouTube channel. I was ready to step into this position of what it means to be a business owner. What does it mean to create an online business? How does my mindset have to change? How do I have to direct myself? And just seeing like what I was willing to do and how far I was willing to go and how much I applied myself. It's like, yeah, man, I did it, I pushed the point. It wasn't the point. It allowed me to get to my real point, which is like self-awareness and just knowing who we are for real and sharing that to support other people. So anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Catch you next time.